to our cruise bracket here with our number one scene, the one I think I fought for the most in terms of enthusiasm, which was the Burj Khalifa climb in Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol. That is our number one seed in the cruise bracket. And that is going to be taking on the play-in winner of the Bourne Ultimatum, the Tangier chase, where he's just constantly running through buildings, jumping to another building, and then the fight sequence.
Yeah. It has the most famous shot of the Bourne trilogy.
Correct. Or it's taking on the Batman warehouse fight scene from Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. Which, again, not the greatest movie in the world, but the warehouse sequence is a phenomenal action sequence, so I'm excited to see what's going to come out against the Burj Khalifa. Now we go Avengers Endgame. We have Cap getting Mjolnir, and we have our main trio of Avengers taking on Thanos. Avengers Endgame, they're going to take on the Arnold versus Predator fight in the Predator, which is going to be interesting. We then go to Gravity, taking on Mission Impossible 5. So it's the destruction of the space station, sort of, in Gravity, and that's going to be taking on the water take sequence in Mission Impossible 5 Rogue Nation, which, if you haven't seen in a while, fucking compelling. That was one that I wasn't even going to go for it, and you were like, no, it needs to be in. I'm telling you, it needs to be in. So,
yeah.
We then go to Inception, where we have the Hotel Gravity fight, where the whole thing is spinning in gravity the entire time in Inception, versus Duel of the Fates in the Phantom Menace and the sole entry from the Star Wars franchise. So, Phantom Menace's Duel of the Fates, and we're talking about, in this necessarily section, we're talking about Duel of the Fates as one thing. So we're taking out the space battle, we're taking out the Gungans, we're taking out the palace guards. It's just Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul. That's what we're considering the Duel of the Fates.
Yes.
Just for some housekeeping there. We then go the Princess Bride, Inigo versus Wesley in the sword fight, versus the Fellowship of the Rings entry, which is a strong one here, which is the forest fight. That was a tough one. If you want to have more context on that one, go check out 2 weeks ago's episode. Then we go to the Final Destination 2, which Dylan was so graciously given us our horror entry, versus the truck chase and flip through Lower Wacker in The Dark Knight, which is obviously iconic. We then go to the original John Wick and its nightclub fight sequence, taking on Heat's bank robbery chase scene. So they've already robbed the bank in Heat, and then they're going forward with Chase and all the shootouts there. Then we go to John Wick 3, and that is the Casablanca escape sequence where we have Halle Berry involved as a partner to John Wick, and her two dogs are taking out everybody, which is rad. Anytime you see a dog taking out a human, it's great because go dogs, humans suck, dogs are awesome. Versus King Kong versus the T-Rexes from Peter Jackson's 2005 rendition of King. Is there a matchup in this bracket or this division that you are intrigued by?
Well, there's one I'm really gutted by, and that's Princess Bride versus Fellowship.
That hurts. That one hurts.
Because I'm like, oh, I love both those a lot. And I think both of those would have gotten really far had they been separated.
Yes.
So,
though I looked at that one a lot. I also look at the possibility here of the single matchup that I was going to highlight was Princess Bride and Fellowship of the Ring. Mm-hmm. The one I'm actually kind of really intrigued by to see if they win, because we don't know yet, is we have a potential John Wick versus John Wick situation in the second round based off of the seeding, which I thought was going to be really fun to see how that franchise has evolved and what sticks and is really good versus what's better about the sequels. So I thought that's really interesting. I still think the Yo bracket so far is probably the one I think is the most exciting thus far.
I would agree.
But that's where I kind of went through. I was like, a lot of even matchups or things where I'm like, okay, this is a conversation. True. There's a couple in here that I'm like, I think I know who's going to win this one.
Yeah. But I am a little gutted too by the Final Destination taking on such a strong opponent.
Yeah.
because I really love the Final Destination 2 opening. Like it's like one of the best horror openings.
Yeah. So it's taking on a juggernaut, and unfortunately, I feel like this is the scene in Coach Carter where the boys are all like, "We got in the tournament. Who do you play?"
Yep.
St. Francis, and you're like, "Well, that's our tournament. Cool."
Yeah, you're just like, oh fuck me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know that's how you feel about Final Destination taking on the Dark